This is Insiders Pro Wrestling, and the best is still to come.
What's up, everybody? Thank you all so much for joining us on a Sunday evening for Between the Ropes. Again, thank you. We really appreciate you all. We hope you had a happy holiday so far and a Merry Christmas and all those things, whatever you celebrate. We're just glad you're all here this evening, and hopefully you're enjoying the wrestling right now. So as you can tell, this is me. This is Jeff doing this evening. Joe's not going to be able to join, so I will be doing this evening, and I'm going to condense the show a little bit so we won't do everything that we normally do, but we will do something. So we'll go over the news. We'll go over our favorite moments of the week, and then we'll also do the burning question of the week, because I feel like, especially with everything going on right now, I really would like a chance to answer that question. I would like to do that in lieu of doing a grievance, because it kind of fits. So I want to welcome everyone in real quick. So we've got Clown, we've got Derek, we've got Heather, Damian, Andrew, Dylan, and Anthony Slate. So, definitely thoughts and prayers. Please keep Heather in your thoughts and prayers, everyone, and her family. They've gone through a lot in 2025, and we want to lift them up in prayer. So please keep them lifted up in thoughts and prayers. So, like I said, this evening we're going to get into the news. We're going to get into all of that. But first, I want to go over what we will be doing for the rest of this week. So as you can see here, this is our schedule. We'll be back on Tuesday for Fireflies Forever, and then we will be back for TNA Wrestling on Thursday. Now, I don't know what they're doing currently, if they have a show scheduled, but here's what I'm thinking. If they don't have anything scheduled, we can use that time to do a retro watch along. So that is my goal for the moment, is to do a retro watch along if they don't have anything planned. So if they don't, we will put a poll out later on in the week to ask everyone what they would like to watch. And there we go. Barry Monkey joining us from Twitch. We've got Mr. Stormy. Hello to you. All right, folks. So we're going to get into the news, and unless anyone has any breaking news in the I am just going to go through the news as I was saying. So, all right. So Heather's saying, long story short, stomach problems, had an endoscopy and colonoscopy last week. All right. We're going to keep you in our prayers, Heather, for sure. For sure. And all, like I said earlier, everyone being in prayer. And sending positive vibes to Heather. She's a part of the family, so please do that. I don't have any breaking news in terms of wrestling right now, so I'm just going to get into it. We finally after all of the spoilers and everything over the last couple weeks. We finally saw Carmelo Hayes actually win the U.S. title. Okay, so let's see. There's actually quite a bit, but announced for Thursday on Impact, including Kazarian versus Barry Bronson. Yes, for the Impact World title. There we go. Quite a bit. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Damien. I was out of the loop last week for a few reasons. So thank you. But yes, so that lets me know we will be doing the show on Thursday and not any retro watch-alongs, which we will do during the month of January, just to throw that out. But Carmelo Hayes did win the U.S. title, defeating Ilya Dragunov. And again, this was a lot of people were saying, hey, but what about Carmelo? And he deserves some run, and he earned it. So great match with Ilya Dragunov. Carmelo's just always been such a talented performer, and I feel like this is just the start for him. So following up what he did in NXT, I feel like this is his time to shine. He is him. So congratulations to Carmelo Hayes. And for all of you who spread the spoilers ahead of time, I said what I said last time we were here, but you need to have your social media privileges revoked. We'll just go there. Bonus Baby saying, awesome match. Too bad it got leaked. Yeah, it was an awesome match. I hate that it got leaked. I hate it. And I know us as fans, we always say we don't want anything to take away our freedom of expression at these shows. We don't want signs taken and all of those things. But then when companies do tapings and you have the trust in the fans to not share that on the internet, and they do it anyway, what do you do at this point? So again, I just feel like people need to. We'll get into what needs to change and all of that for 2026, because that's actually the question that we got this week. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll go further into detail what I'm going to say about what I want to change for 2026 and when it comes to wrestling, and this type of behavior is a part of it. So Damien saying Melo's title win was well earned, even if it didn't get spoiled. Yeah, even if it did get spoiled. Yeah, I agree. Thank goodness it's a live episode this week. I like Dragunov, but his run was spoiled by being too much week after week after week. His defenses got monotonous. Okay. Yeah, and I've heard that. I've seen those comments out there of people saying, it just felt a little too the same. It just felt too bland to them. And I love Dragunov. I've liked him for a long time. Enjoy his work, but I think I agree with that statement. After a minute, it was like, okay, we know we're going to get this every week. But again, I think that consistency, if you look at the overall outlook of SmackDown, he was one of the better parts of SmackDown every week too. So maybe the consistency got a little bit too much. Maybe they should have changed it up. But yeah, that's just my take on it. Heather's saying, my thing is when Trick gets called up, is he going to overshadow Melo? Trick has had a heck of a year. He has had a heck of a year. I don't think we'll get the Trick. Heather. That's a good point though. Brandon saying, do you think Black versus Priest feud is too long? I think that here's what I'll say about feuds. Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair lasted for years. Years. That was a different time, but I think if you can spice it up and if you can make it different, you can make it run as long as you want to. But you got to do things to make it new and fresh. So I don't think it's too long. I think maybe having some different things to add in to spice it up and to do some different things might work to go wherever they're going. And who knows, they might be ready to end this thing soon, but it has been going a while. I don't think it's too long though. It just all depends on how you cook up the meal. Bonus Baby saying, I like the run, the excitement of who it was going to be, the challenge, the story of Ciampa being a jackass. Yeah, that was good. All right, so staying with WWE, Backlash for 2026 has been announced. It will be in Puerto Rico. So we did get news about that this week, which was very interesting. And I remember the last time they were there, and man, I'm glad that it's returning. Heather's saying, so does Ciampa go after Melo now? I see. Here's my question. I hate to answer a question with a question, but here's my question back to you. Do you think this causes friction between Ciampa and Gargano? Does Ciampa? I think Ciampa will be next, but some good thought there. We'll have to go into that a little bit deeper. Raven versus Dreamer was 2.5 years, and Dreamer didn't win until the end. Give me a long feud. Yeah. You can have a long feud as long as you do it right and you, like I said earlier, make it fresh and do different things. You can have a feud as long as you want it to. I mean, you can have it go for 5-10 years if you want it to. Heather's saying we need a Bad Bunny return at Backlash. Ciampa versus Gargano, main roster feud coming. Yes. If this story is true and Backlash is in Puerto Rico, they really should do right by Zelina Vega and have her win a title. I think that's a good point. How do you get there? How would you book that, Damien, is my question. I don't disagree, but how would you do it? What happens to Tom going after Ilya? They ran that tease. They did run that tease for a minute. Marvin saying, hey, I hope you and everybody in the chat doing great. Hey, Marvin, hope you are doing well. Hey, Christopher, hope you're doing well. All right, so up next, speaking of long feuds, we have gotten this Cody and Drew feud for quite a while, and I really, really enjoyed what they did, the whole home invasion angle, how they did that. I really enjoyed the stipulation of Cody, you cannot touch Drew. I also like Cody saying, hey, did you forget who you're talking to? Now we find out that we're getting 3 stages of hell, a 3 stages of hell match on the January 9th episode of SmackDown, I believe, if I'm correct. So my question to you all is, when's the last time you've seen a 3 stages of hell match? Because it's been a while for me. I don't even know when the last one was, to be honest, but I feel like this is very fitting though. And please let me know your thoughts in the chat. I feel like this is fitting because so many of these feuds that we've seen, and not just WWE, But in wrestling as a whole, you go to all these lengths and you do all these different things, and the payoff is like, okay, we just have a regular match. Or if you're lucky, you do a cage match or a Hell in a Cell type match. We never really see it go here anymore, and this is going to be unique. So I'm looking forward to seeing this match, how they do it. Bonus Baby saying Triple H versus Umaga. Shawn Michaels versus Triple H was the last 3 stages of hell, according to Dylan McClure. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. This is something we haven't seen in a while. And this feud feels like it needs something unique. And I'll ask this question to all of you. If Triple H gave you the pencil tomorrow, who are you booking to win this match and why? Don't just tell me Drew because Cody's run feels stale. If you believe that you'd book Drew to win, how would you do it? How would you do it? You've not seen one. Okay. So I am going to send you a link, and you, my friend, even though I don't really want to send that, but yeah, so typically during the match, and I'll send you the history, and I actually looked up the last one on record was Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole, August 10th, 2019. So NXT days. But you'll have a steel cage match, ladder match, and a falls count anywhere. No, sometimes people do an ambulance or an I quit. It just depends. But I just sent you a link in the chat there. Damien, yeah, we insiders. Gosh, I forget our email here. But it's our insiders email. You sent us email. insiderswrestlingpod@gmail. I know. See, I know. I tried to be professional with it, clown. That's why. You always got to do the baby. I mean, you got to do it. But I was trying to not go there. But yes. Do I have your email? No, I don't, Damien. Oh yeah, I do because you sent us one before. Yes, I do. This when Randy returns, says Brandon. Randy versus Cody incoming, says Brandon. Okay, so you think Randy gets involved somehow, some way, and causes a ruckus. So I like that. Let's see what else. First time on the main roster since 2013. John Cena versus Ryback at Payback. Okay, there you go. All right, so up next, one thing I wanted to do, I'm going to bring up the results for AEW World's End, and I want to say this before I talk a little bit about the show. I want to say congratulations to AEW. They were recently recognized by Sports Illustrated for having some awesome pay-per-views throughout 2025. And I definitely want to give them kudos for getting that recognition because, again, I feel like at one point during 2025, a lot of folks were asking the question, is everything okay with AEW? They seem to be struggling right now. And I know for a little bit it was people didn't want to hear that. People were like, oh, you're just being a hater. You're just being this, you're just being that. Well, you don't have to agree, but there were some struggles for some. But really, they've had a really good year. And what I'm going to say about AEW is now you got to continue to build on this momentum. I know that there's a lot of buzz about free agents and debuts coming in 2026. Keep that momentum, and shows like World's End will help any company keep that momentum. And Heather's saying, I tried to watch the Cultaholic watch along last night. That's a lot to say there together. For World's End, and I fell asleep before it got to Stat and Hater for the Women's World title. Bonus Baby, yes, TK said one of their shows was voted Show of the Year about 70 times. Yes, and it was named Promotion of the Year. And yeah, listen, kudos, because for a while, AEW was kind of being little brother for a bit, and they were doing some stuff that it was like, all right, let's be honest, this ain't working. But they stayed the course, and they've continued to put together good stories. They've continued to build upon their foundation, and it's good to see that they've grown. It's good to see that growth. And it's also good to see that they've really been listening to the fans on some folks. So it was a really good pay-per-view, I thought, to end the year. Bonus Baby saying, good Worlds in AEW always does good pay-per-views. I agree with that. But now AEW has four men's mid-card titles. Yes. So as you could see, we've got Sports Illustrated is still in print. I understand. Yeah, there's still some print out there. So the big ones I just want to mention real quick: FTR beating the Bang Bang Gang, Babes of Wrath, who are quickly becoming one of my favorite tag teams, Willow Nightingale. Harley Cameron got Darby winning. Darby is, man, I really love Darby. He's crazy. I always wince when I see him do any spot, especially when it's a high spot. But yeah, even though I don't watch AEW, I'm glad they exist as it pushes WWE to improve. Yeah, it's AEW existing for those folks out there who just like to crap on AEW because you don't want them to exist. You're actually hurting wrestling. AEW's existence, AEW being recognized by publications like Sports Illustrated, continuing to get buzz by the fans, that's good for wrestling as a whole. A lot of us fans remember back around 2017 or so. If you don't, ask wrestling fans who were watching WWE around then from about 2017 to right around when the pandemic was going on. Ask them about wrestling in WWE at that point. And I'm sure they will give you an honest assessment of how unwatchable it was at times. So wrestling benefits when there's competition. Now, what I will say with that is when the competition becomes more personal than it is about the competition and what you're doing, that's where I start to have an issue. But AEW's existence and their continued growth and improvement should push the heck out of WWE, TNA, anyone that's out there, heck, JCW, anyone that's out there. It should push you MLW to be better. So Heather's saying, heck, the 2010s were awful for WWE, especially with the exception of, few bright spots. Yeah, there were some bright spots. It wasn't all bad, but it was lean during those years. In regards to my comment about Backlash and Zelina Vega, I would probably say either have a tournament for a challenger for a specific world title in the women's division with Vega as an ideal. Okay. Swag fan, AEW isn't my cup of tea either, but they are needed. Like Matt Hardy said, both TNA and AEW existence keeps wrestlers working. Hopefully TNA's AMC deal pushes them to a new height. I agree with that. Yeah, I will be completely honest. I watch AEW. I don't watch it live most times. I don't really watch much wrestling live anymore other than TNA when we're doing the watch along, and that's not even live. But I watch it and I enjoy it. There are things that I enjoy about every company and things I don't like about every promotion. I like what they've done in the back half of 2025. It feels like things are really clicking on all cylinders and really firing like it should be there now. And a lot of that credit goes to Tony Khan. We've been very critical of him on this channel. And, credit, when there's credit due, you give it. I would say that my challenge to AEW, and in particular the fans who guard it and act like it's this secret society or something, is let more people in your tent, because I guarantee you more people will like it too. But because people don't know much about you, because maybe people have been watching WWE and they didn't want to give you a chance, and maybe now they want to give you a chance. Don't beat them down for wanting to give you a chance now. Let them in to see your product, because what could work is you get some of these fans that who haven't given you a shot yet. They give you a shot. It's the same thing we say on here with TNA. Give it a month. You might become a new fan. And I think a lot of people's disdain towards AEW sometimes is the treatment from some of the like super diehard fans. I will stand on that hill. But that's where I think AEW fans give some people grace as they learn about your product, as they learn about your wrestlers, as they learn about how things work in AEW. It's not WWE, and they need to learn that process. So let's see. Heather saying, agree, the perfect card is 6 to 8 matches. I just wish AEW would dial it down a notch. And I'm an OG AEW mark. Yeah, I just feel like sometimes with their cards, and I get it, you don't have as many as WWE. So I get it that people are paying their hard-earned money, and things are rough in this economy. They're paying their hard-earned money to watch your product. You want to give them their money's worth. I get that. I appreciate that. But yeah, there comes a point. I mean, I'll put this back up on screen. This, my friends, is the main card of the night. This does not count the 0-hour matches that were on. So maybe if you want to go 10 matches, go 10 matches, but have that be your cap. But I just feel like a lot of times that's one of the criticisms is that, hey, there are a lot of matches. That's a lot of wrestling. Um, so yeah, I get that criticism. 6 to 8 matches is a sweet spot, I think, for a wrestling card, for a pay-per-view, PLE, whatever you want to call it. I think once you go over that, 2 questions I think you have to ask yourself. What does adding all those matches accomplish? And who are you doing it for? Are you really doing it for the fans? That would be my only response to that. So, Brandon saying, do you think the AEW and WWE hate is forced? Brandon, thank you so much for that question. I really appreciate that question. I do think it's forced. I think it's forced because, one, in every competition, there has to be a good guy and a bad guy. And I think a lot of people, and listen, WWE doesn't need anyone's help in looking like a villain. They've done a lot of villain stuff through the decades. So they don't need anyone's help. But I think there has been a concerted effort over the last several, I would say maybe, especially 2 to 3 years, maybe mostly this year, the back end of this year, there's been a concerted effort to really paint WWE in a certain light. And again, a lot of that is earned. Please hear me say that. A lot of that is earned. But I also think that with AEW, a lot of people didn't want to give them a chance initially because they weren't WWE. And I also think a lot of people didn't want to give them a chance because Tony Khan and, Cody and Chris Jericho and the Young Bucks and Kenny O, they were talking spicy in the beginning. So it was like, okay, some people that rubbed them the wrong way. A lot of people liked it. They gravitated towards it. They liked the fact of having someone taking on the big bad WWE. But I think it's forced because you have certain entities online that benefit from the discourse, whether it be social media accounts, whether it be wrestling related publications, whether it be large platforms. They benefit from the discourse. They benefit from the negativity. When they can report on a negative story, that stuff sells. That stuff gets clicks. That's why it's forced. My challenge to you is think about the division between the fan bases and then think about where that narrative is driven from most often. Think about who pushes that narrative most often and think about how those people are benefiting from pushing said narrative. That would be my answer to, is it forced? I think that AEW has skated by for several years with some Teflon coating in terms of criticism. I think that they've been shielded and protected a lot when it comes to criticism. And when I say that, I don't mean that there's not a ton of people out there criticizing them, because there are. There have been a ton of people out there criticizing them. But I also think that a lot of people have shielded them from some of that sticking. So my challenge would be, and I think I've seen some of it start to really start to seep in a little bit. Some of those criticisms of over and some of those criticisms I'm starting to see are benefiting AEW. It's like they're taking heed to some of those things they've heard over the years. So that would be my ultimate response to that is, yeah, I think it's forced. I think a lot of it is. I think a lot of fans I think a lot of people just hate WWE and don't want to see it succeed. So they put all of their energy and everything over there. And I think the reverse as well. So yeah. Hey, Conrad, and a ton of critics yeah, I mean, and listen, you're going to have people like those, and that's fine. That's going to be, anytime you have those type of competitions, you're going to see those people. I always say, though, what are their intentions? Is it to see the product get better? Is it for them to benefit, to push the division, or is it they're just being a hater? So, I'm over it. I just think everybody needs to admit that there are faults in all promotions and that AEW doesn't always get it right. And when people criticize it, it's okay. And now that you've gotten, promotion of the year and all this recognition, I'm going to say this. People like Sports Illustrated, publications like that, I don't want to hear people say, well, they're just haters, they're this, they're that, if they criticize you on something next year. Because they're not haters. They're giving you recognition. When you get criticism and when you get people saying, well, I wish that this was better, I wish that they did this, or I wish that they did that. If you have people that are genuinely critiquing your product and your first reflex is to be like, well, they're haters, that, check yourself, look in the mirror, because criticism like that helps you grow. But it also shows that people care. And if you get to a point where people don't criticize outside of your bubble, outside of your group, if they no longer criticize, it shows that they don't care. And you don't want indifference. Indifference is bad. So you want people to care. So I would say welcome some criticism in 2026. And don't call everybody a hater that offers you a little bit of criticism. So, all right, I didn't expect to spend as much time on the news, but thank you for that question, because that's actually one of the things I wanted to talk about. We have a burning question of the week. And did I touch on Nick Khan criticism for WWE? No, I haven't seen it. Please send it my way, Conrad. I was answering a question from, I forget who it was. Clown said, don't be a yes man. Criticism causes change, if not offended by it. Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'm just so tired. Like Derek said, I'm just so tired of it. Like, we get it. WWE does bad stuff. They deserve to be criticized. But so does AEW. And it's okay. TNA does too, and it's okay. Like, we don't have to we don't have to jump through hoops or twist ourselves into pretzels to, they all make mistakes. They all make boneheaded decisions. And it's okay. Let's be cool with that. WWE has a lot of things that I'd love to see fixed right now. Thank you. Swag fan. No company is perfect. Yes. That's where I'm at. All right, so I'm going to go into the burning question of the week because honestly, um, I I was gonna have a grievance, but I figure it's better served to um, better served to just address it here. And the question, quite simply, is what would you like to see change in wrestling in 2026? Hmm. So Conrad sent this to me. I'll read it out. Nick Khan, this was attributed, a quote attributed to him. Um, I guess at nodq.com. I'm not going to let someone with 14 followers decide how I feel about my day. We train our creative team to ignore the noise, trust the data, trust your instincts. Don't let Twitter or Reddit or whatever throw you off your game. Okay. What would you like to see change in wrestling in 2026? I actually want to start where we just left our conversation. I want to see less tribalism. I want to see people enjoying wrestling for what it is. I want people to understand that they don't know everything there is to know about wrestling. James Chadwick in the house. What's up? Um, and I want people, the first part of this is directed at fans, obviously, but I want fans to stop acting like they're the booking experts because we're not. We're just not. If we were the booking experts, and I don't mean to be offensive, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but if it does that, then maybe that's what needed to happen. But if you were as good at booking as you think you are, you would be working for a company. Just my personal opinion there. Conrad saying, I thought it was an interesting quote. I feel more of WWE's fan base feels disconnected from the product. I think they have to listen to the fans as well. Yeah, and then so Conrad, I do agree with that. I do think that WWE needs to listen to the fans. My only question to that and my only response with that is which time? Because, and what I mean by that is us fans want WWE or, insert wrestling company to listen to us, and then they give us something that we like, and then we crap all over it. So if I'm a wrestling company, when do I listen to the fan? Would be and again, I'm sorry to answer a question with a question. But when should they listen? Because you got to admit, a lot of people, a lot of fans say they want all this stuff, and and we all say, listen to the fans, listen to the fans. How do you strike that balance? Would be my question. Swag fan, that was a great special, by the way. Like Dave Chappelle said in his latest special, there's nothing wrong with saying I don't know, or in my opinion. Thank you, because that was going to be the next part of my criticism to the fans, is that we don't all know stuff going on behind the scenes. We don't know anything other than what the company or the individual wrestlers tell us, or what the reporters report or put out there as rumors. That's all we know. That's it. We don't know anything deeper than that. We can say, I feel like, or I think this is what's happening, but to say that we know things, that's a part of what causes the dissension and the chaos, is because a lot of people think they know stuff that they just don't know. They think they have an understanding of a process that they have no clue about. Just saying. Look at Cody's year. Fans yell, "Turn him heel." Why would they? Why would they? Who take his spot? Same in AEW. Mox. All I heard was Death Rider sucks, and last night they cheered him. I will talk about that at a different time. I want to save that exact conversation for a roundtable because, respectfully, I think there are two different situations. Yes, fans yell, "Turn him heel." Turn him heel. I'm going to say that for yeah, we're going to save that. Remind me of that because I have thoughts on that, but I don't want to spend the next 30 minutes or an hour going there because I will. So we'll do that for a roundtable, Conrad, if you don't mind. I think people cheer at Mox because they're sick of sleepwalking Okada. I've been disappointed with Okada's entire run this year. I think you also have to think about the promo that he cut too. There, yeah. Let me stop. Let me stop because I do want to have that conversation. That is definitely worth discussing. I just want to have it at a different time. But going back to what I want to go back to in terms of what should change for wrestling. I just want to see better behavior from wrestling fans. That's one. Two, I want to see the companies listen to the fans, and then when they listen to them and do what they say you want, and then you gripe that it's not the thing you want, I want them to throw it back at you because I want them to remind you, this is what you asked for. This is what we gave you. What's wrong with it? That's what I want to see. But I think for the first thing to happen is for fans to have truly changed behavior, I think it goes down to each individual person on a personal level. I think a lot of us have to look at ourselves in the mirror and we have to be honest with ourselves. I think we have to ask ourselves if you're a wrestling, this first part is for wrestling fans. If I'm a wrestling fan, what excites me about wrestling? What drew me to wrestling? And how can I support my favorites without tearing down other people? Favorites, whether that's your favorite company, favorite wrestler, whoever. I'd like for us to ask ourselves those three questions. But in order for us to get there, we got to look ourselves in the mirror and have a real conversation. What I've seen, especially over the last year, and this has been the case for a while, but what I've seen over the last year is that there is a genuine lack of regard for others when it comes to some human beings. For some reason, and I think a lot of us know the reasons, but for some reason, it's now cool to just be a jerk to people. and treat people like trash and forget about their humanity and the fact that we don't know what people may be going through on another side of a screen or wherever. Um, there's a lot of negativity. Yes, swag fan. A lot of negativity. And I'm tired of it. We have to look ourselves in the mirror and say, do I want to contribute to the negativity that's going on out there? Or do I want to contribute to something different? That's going to be my approach in 2026. I think from a personal level, if you have trouble respecting people in your life that are there with you day to day, that are supposed to be your teammates, that are supposed to be shoulder to shoulder with you, if you have trouble respecting those people, I can't expect you to be positive online. I can't expect you to be decent online. So if you keep hearing that you're a negative piece of crap online, or that you need to fix your attitude, or you need to fix this or fix that, I want you to really do some self-evaluation over the next few days left in 2025. And the last thing I'm going to say to bring it back to wrestling. If your first inclination about a wrestler or a wrestling company is negativity, ask yourself, is my continued consumption of that product beneficial to me? Is it beneficial to my mental health? And if that's not the case, but yet you still consume it, you need to dig deeper. Clown saying, when it comes to online, I live by the rule, if I said this in front of someone and we may end up throwing hands, just keep it to myself. I think a lot of people say a lot of things online because they would never say them face to face, because they've never caught that friendly fade. They've never had to have accountability. They've never had to throw hands, as you just said, to defend the words that came out of their mouth. If they had to, they probably walk a little bit differently and talk a lot differently. So all of society is becoming more selfish and uncaring towards others. See it online, in politics, and ordinary life. Yes, people are very selfish these days. Yes, a lot of people are. There are still some people out there who are genuinely good people, who care about others, who want to see others win, who want to see others do well, and who are true to what they say. And then you have people who take advantage of others. They don't appreciate anything. And then have the audacity to act like the world, the universe revolves around them. And to those people, I say, I hope you look in the mirror before the end of 2025, because 2026 is a new year. And a lot of other people are going to be looking to write new books. And they're going to get an opportunity to do that. And you may not be a part of that book. You may be out of that book. You might be in that first chapter, but you might be out of that book before that thing is done. So, yeah, there are a lot of people that way. Swag fan, absolutely. So, there's a lot more that I would say about that, but I'm just gonna say, Lee, I'm gonna let what I said there just thank you, Barry Monkey, for saying that. Swag fan saying a lot of internet thugs out there, face to face, they wouldn't. Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people have Twitter fingers, and a lot of people, and but honestly, a lot that is true. But a lot of people, it's bigger than the social media and online presence these days. It's just more acceptable these days to just be a jerk and just be nasty. I remember a time when if people were nasty, they got called out. They got ridiculed by people. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't say that to people. You can't do that. I remember a time where people stood up for others. And like Derek said, if you don't have hands, yeah. We don't advocate violence on this channel, but we advocate common sense and use your common sense. If you know that your only fight is with a teddy bear, and the OGs will know where that comes from, I probably wouldn't put myself into harm's way. But anyway, all right. So we've talked about that. We've talked about we've talked about what we want to change, and I've seen some of your comments in the chat, and I appreciate your thoughtful comments on what you would like to see change in wrestling in 2026. The last thing I'll say is I just want to see people be honest about what they're seeing. Don't criticize someone based on an agenda. James says, I always say what's on my mind. We know that, James. Like Heather just said, we know that you say exactly what's on your mind. And I love that about you. One of the many things I love about you. I just want to see people be honest about what they're saying. I don't want to see people attack a wrestling company based on agenda. I don't want to see attack a company because it benefits them financially. Yeah, I just want you to see. I just want to see you be honest. That's all. So that's it. All right. So we've talked a lot about changing the world. If this community, and here's the thing, we say things sometimes, we're like, well, that's not going to happen, or that's impossible, and that's not true. I'm seeing the folks that we have right now, and it's floating between the 30s and the 40s. If everyone that's watching this right now went back and did some self-evaluation, and you change things in your life that you don't like, maybe you've had some nasty things to say, or you've done some nasty things, and you want to change that, you want to turn that around and do something completely different in 2026. If all of us do that, the ripple effect we could have would be massive, because think about the people that would impact in your life, and then the people that are in their lives outside of you. Think about the ripple effects that we have. So I don't mean to get philosophical. I'm going to stop, but we're going to our favorite moments of the week. We're going to end the show here. We're going to end it on a high note. So get your favorite moments of the week ready. We're going to go 3, 2, 1. And here we go. Favorite moments of the week. All right, favorite moments of the week. We're going to go 3, we're going to go 2, we're going to go 1, and I am going to start by saying that my number 3 favorite moment of the week was seeing Trick Williams show up on SmackDown. I feel like Trick Williams is a star, and seeing him in the same room with Cody and Nick Aldis, man, it really opened my eyes to the possibilities of what could be, because I've known that Trick's a star, but he belonged in that moment, and it just solidified that for me. So seeing him in that moment, listen, even though he wore the colors of my rival in terms of college football, still got to root for, man. He's doing awesome stuff. All jokes aside, really happy for Trick Williams. And he had a great 2025. I'm looking forward to see what's in 2026 for him. So, all right, let's see what we got here for some number 3s. And Clown said this before we got started, and I want to echo this: be the change you want to see in the world. Yes. Melo becoming U.S. champ, says James. Melo winning gold because I've been asking for this, says Conrad. Last week's AAA show, says Bonkers. Number 3, Joe Hendry concert on SmackDown. Atticus Christmas promo. Holiday 10-person surprise tag team match from Impact on Thursday. Number 3, Ty for Melo winning U.S. title and Joe Hendry debut on SmackDown. My number 3 is Melo as the U.S. champ. Same. That's for Brandon and for Andrew Stevens. So a lot of you happy to see Melo as the U.S. champ. You know what? My number 2 is exactly that. It's Melo winning the United States title. And again, for the fan, I've seen so many fans asking for Melo to win gold, to be more prominently featured. He's got that now. Now, the mission is, don't just stop because Melo got what you want and what you wanted him to have. Keep supporting him. Keep your support for him as loud as it was when you wanted him to win that gold initially. Keep the support loud. Keep supporting him, because the more support that they see, I think the higher he goes. And that's true, I think, with any form of entertainment. The more you put your eyes on it, the more likely it is you're going to see it later on. So continue to support Melo. Continue to support your favorites. Dylan saying number 2, Melo winning the U.S. title. Bonus saying Trick Williams acknowledging he was the TNA. Now, scratch that. Trick NA champ. That's right. I love that moment, Bonus baby. Damien saying Melo's U.S. title win. Brandon saying is McIntyre's challenge for 3 stages of hell to Cody. Clown saying Melo wins gold. Eva's name free agent Buster and okay. Oh, Evan's name free agent. Okay. AAA show, especially the Wyatts versus Psycho Clown. That was wild. Yeah. So a lot of good number 2 moments there. My number 1, folks. If anything, call me consistent. You know I've been a TNA fan for quite some time. Seeing 2 former TNA guys mix it up and have each other's back on SmackDown. I'm talking about Joe Hendry and the Rabbit and Wyatt Six. You know, if you need another Rabbit, R-Truth might be someone you can call. But yeah, R-Truth and Joe Hendry, absolutely fantastic. Seeing Joe Hendry on SmackDown, absolutely love it. Didn't think it was going to happen that fast, but it happened fast. So, and then obviously I'm going to tie here just because we can. But my 1A is I would say the turnaround that AEW has had the back half of 2025. That's my number one. Seeing MJF champ again, uh, become champ, and um, seeing what's happening with Mercedes, because we talked a lot about the climb, but man, is Mercedes on a downward spiral right now, and the crash out is going to be epic, I believe. So, but yeah, AEW consistently puts on awesome pay-per-views. The criticism is they're a bit lengthy, and we could do with maybe a couple less matches, or yeah. I mean, and I listen, Conrad, I'm not one of those people who lazily criticizes AEW. I said back when we talked about the climb, I want to see how they do the fall off. And so far, so good. I'm liking it. So there we go. My number one highlight of the week and year have been seeing WWE evolve and AAA on TV. Really enjoyed their shows this year. Awesome stuff. Clown saying Christmas cooking dinner for my family. And when that 1,000 milligram edible hitting when I was at the in-laws. I hear you, Cloud. I hear you. You were festive in the cloud. Festive in the cloud. There you go. Don't know how true this is, but did you see apparently Christian Cage was spotted near? No, I did not see that. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard that, James. Can't wait for Mercedes Monet to rebound. I think the crash out is going to be fun, though. The crash out is going to be a lot of fun. I think she's going to she's going to cut some amazing promos. I think I'm going to say that now. And she's going to have great matches as always. But I think the promos will be a lot of fun, too. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you all so much for giving us your top 3 moments of the week, and for your continued support every week too. Again, as I am wrapping up the show here, just want to say we will be back again on Tuesday for Fireflies Forever, and Thursday for TNA Wrestling. And we've got a couple weeks before TNA moves to AMC. So, and again, I want to make mention of this too. When TNA makes that move and they move to AMC, they are going to be on an hour later, which means that we're going to be moving to 8:30 to start our watch alongs for TNA. So we're going to remind you of that in the coming weeks, but just want to mention that now too. All right. So I hope all of you had a great holiday. Hope you have an amazing new year. Yeah, be the change that you'd like to see in the world. I can't really end it any better than that. Conrad saying Jeff, Joe, and Tazzy wanted to wish you all the best going into 2026. Thank you for holding it down for your community. Support positive creators. Conrad, thank you too. And I'm going to say this. I always say this when Conrad shows up, and it's not just, I don't just do this. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Please, please, please go support Conrad. Subscribe to Everything Pro Wrestling. Conrad is another positive creator. And listen, we're doing the best that we can. It's not always easy. It doesn't always get you the most views and looks, but we do this because we care and because we want to see positivity. We want to see people enjoying wrestling because it's entertainment. It's supposed to be fun. So let's get back to that. And let's be kinder to one another. How about that? I know Joe says that all the time, be kind to one another, but let's really focus on doing that in 2026. Let's focus on being kinder to one another. Let's focus on appreciating what you're appreciating. And if you don't appreciate something and you don't partake in it and you don't watch it, mind your own doggone business. Don't have something to say about somebody else's fun because it's not for you. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And that's cool. Be appreciative of the people who are in your circle, however big or small it may be. Be appreciative of people and their efforts, because you don't know what people have to go through and deal with to come through for you. So, all right. I won't pass the collection plate around tonight. But what I will say is thank you all. And I truly mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all so much for your continued support, for rocking with us and dropping the likes on the video, which I'm about to ask you to do again. So please drop a like on the video. But being here as a community for one another, being kind, being compassionate when people say that they're going through something difficult in their personal lives, offering up prayers, offering up positive thoughts. That means a lot. And it means a lot to us to be able to see that come through. So please know that means a lot to us. So please hit that like button before you head out if you haven't done so already, folks. And like I said, we'll be back on Tuesday for Fireflies Forever. But if we don't see you then, hopefully we'll see you on Thursday for TNA. But if not, hopefully we'll see you next Sunday for the next episode of Between the Ropes. Take care, everyone. God bless and good night.